Welcome to Mechabellum. This is your host, the Immortal Cookie, and this marks the start of my short tutorial series about the game. So Mechabellum is an auto-battler RTS-like mech game. As you can see in the background, you purchase units, plop them on the ground, and watch them fight each other. The goal is last man standing wins, essentially. So let's get into this main menu and get into a game. So as you start the game, you'll probably start here. There's different divisions. These represent just different regions of the game. You'll want to select the one that you are part of the most. So for me, that's just English. And then after that, you'll get launched into the main menu. This little weird icon right here is your friend icon. So if you have Steam friends that you want to invite or who have the game and they're online, you access them there. And yeah, the bottom chat right here is global chat. This is automatically turned off by default, but you'll see that I have it on when you load into games. I just like having it there to see what's happening in global. You can click on the season tab and that tells you everything about your current level of your account, and it'll show you season rewards. So there's a season tracker which can only go up and never go down. You can see that there's silver 1, silver 2, silver 3. These are ranks, kind of. You don't ever decrease when you lose a game. You only increase this tracker when you win games. So all this XP has been gained from winning games. And you can use these season points in the shop to buy some nice little cosmetics. There's some skins here too. They don't affect your power of your units. And you can see past season rewards as well. So that's pretty helpful. A little bit about the store. You can see that in the credits tab, this is the real money tab, you will see a little collect button over here. The game automatically generates some free credits for you every 3 days. It's going right now, but it will fill up to 300 to start with. And if you spend more credits, I've bought like an emote or two, you can increase your store level, and that increases your ability to generate more credits. It's just kind of a nice free feature. It's better than just having a flat, fee to buy cosmetics from. It's just nice to have. The shop rotates every 8 hours, 12 hours, not entirely sure. The left side pretty much always has a discount. And then the limited time offers are just real money conversions, I think. I've not bought anything from here, so I don't know if you can use credits or if it's just cash value. And then you'll see that there's prediction tokens over here that you can buy for predicting games. So Mechabellum likes to put an emphasis on the community, and there's some streamers and YouTubers who play the game on their channel, and you can actually just look up any game that's being played and spectate. And then you can also vote on those games. You can also vote on yourself as you're playing a game, and the more you succeed in correctly voting, you will increase your insight, which is in career statistics in the season. That's what this little insight tracker is. You can see my current is 31 and my season highest is 183. So the more you correctly guess games, the more points you get. It's the same as MMR essentially. You can see my MMR is around 384, so I am in fact a new player playing the game. I picked it up over the free weekend and I've just been obsessed with it. And yeah, you'll see the strongest opponent defeated, your most commonly used unit, and your most commonly used specialist. and then it shows you how many matches you've played total. In the solo tab, the Commander Academy has some tutorials. They give you some credits that you can use. And there's also the testing grounds. They have a PvE survival mode, which is, I think, just an endless mode that you defend against. So that's cool. You can duo with a friend, it looks like. And then they have community challenges where people from the community make different challenges and they allow people to rank themselves against each other, and it's just kind of a neat little thing. Replays. So quick thing about replays. They don't function like League of Legends replays. When you save a replay, it actually saves the entire game that you just had itself. This means that you can actually go back and pick up at certain points in the replay and play normally. You can make different decisions and stuff, I think. It still functions like a normal replay where you can go through the rounds, but since they have the live feature to them, if there's an update like there just was like today, you'll see that they're expired, which means you can go and rewatch the replays, but they might not play out the same way as when you were playing the game initially. If a unit got buffed and is now just dominating, and originally you lost those units in the replay might be different, which means your entire rounds after will be different. So replays are pretty neat, actually. I like how they did it. Honestly, if you really had something that's like, oh my god, this was amazing, you probably should just record it before it has the possibility to change. But yeah, right now I won't worry about unit modification. I'll save that for later. But that's pretty much the main menu. You can make more layouts, and you can choose what layout you'll use for what game mode. So let me just delete that. And that's about it. You can see that I've changed some. I like having the default here, just if I need to go back to it, I can. But as you play the game, learn the units, there's pretty much no reason not to use this tab eventually. So yeah, you'll get there. So if we go into a solo bot game, we can go to practice. There's 4 different bots. You can choose the map and how much HP you start with. Insane bot's actually kind of hard. We'll just go with an easy bot for the sake of practice. But once you spawn in here, this will represent the start of your first game. So now you've dropped into your first game. You'll get your initial starting supply plus the 50 from my training specialist. In the top left, you'll have your HP, and you'll have a little smiley face. That's just emotes if you've acquired any. I think you start with the waving emote to start out with. But yeah, now we're in the game, and I will have started with a set of 2 Stormcallers and 3 Arc Lights. And you can see that there's a command center and a research center, and then it's mirrored on the other side for your opponent. So we are in a 1v1 standard game mode, which is I think the most popular for this game. And you can see my intensive training on the left side is available. You'll have some keybind options down in the bottom that you can look at. There's not really any options right now because, as you can see, there's no ability to change keybinds, but the game is mostly played with left and right click anyways. So if you hold middle mouse button, you can change the angle of your camera. I'm not going to do that because my mouse button zooms in and zooms out, which is incredibly annoying and makes my mouse button unusable for most games. And then you can turn the camera using the Q and E buttons, as well as zoom in with Z and X. WSAD also moves the cameras up and down and around. And then I actually think that's all the keybinds you have access to. If there are more, I don't know of any. You select a unit by left clicking, and then you can click to pick them up and place them down, or you can just pick them up and kind of move them around. You can right click to deselect, and then right clicking and holding will move the camera around. And honestly, that's about all you need to know. F and R also move the cameras up and down at the angle. So to start out with, you will have your you'll have your two sets of units, and sometimes there's a recommendation button. I'm gonna see if I can't get one to spawn by summoning some crawlers. Yeah, there we go. You can click this and it has some recommended formations. I don't know how they select this, but you can click them and it'll put your units there, and it's a good first easy way to just set stuff up without having to think about it too much. So I'm gonna just go with the middle one, or the bottom one. That seems fine. On the right side, you can see the enemy's health and their specialist that they picked up. So they have the aerial specialist, which means that they consume no supplies when being unlocked, which is what I did for the crawlers. And their attack increases by 13% and HP by 13%. So the bot will likely use aerial units. You can see on the side here that there's devices that you have available. There's the shield generator, which you can place on the map, and that will just give you a little shield bubble. These are really good. You should utilize them whenever you have extra supplies and you're not planning to do anything with them. They can really make a difference in how your battlefield plays out. There's also the sentry missiles. You kind of just place these down, and they're good at countering flanks or just deleting units. These are more niche than your shield generator, most likely, but they're also very good to utilize. You also have a missile interceptor. So I have stormcallers here, which shoot rockets. These can be intercepted by the missile interceptors that just get placed down, and they're pretty stationary and they're easy to kill. So they just give you a method to deal with missiles. This does not deal with aerial units, so just don't place this down thinking you're going to deal with aerial units, because you won't. And then this is your little hub for your units, and you'll see an unlock button as I go into this next round. And then on the left side is where all your spells and powers will be stored. So right now I have intensive training that instantly increases the EXP of the designated squad to the maximum value. So as you can see on this lovely little Arclight, he is level 1 and poor. He knows nothing. If I use intensive training, it instantly levels him. Now it increases his XP to max, it doesn't level him, but if I were to spend 50 on him, you can increase him to level 2, and then again to level 3. You can go up to 9 levels in a unit, and I think once you hit 4 or 5, it pretty much just keeps stacking HP at that point. I think the only increases that units get are HP increases and attack increases. They maybe get range, but I'm not sure. At the bottom you can see selling price. So if I were to sell this unit through the use of powers that I'll show you in a minute, I would get 100 supplies back, and whenever you sell a unit, you get the entire invested amount. So I think he's worth 100. So if I were to have promoted him and I don't want him anymore, I will get the entire 150. And you can see he's also worth 100 down here in the bottom. So you'll have around 90 seconds to decide what you're going to do. feel free to use all of that time. Don't be stressed trying to beat the timer. It's just gonna stress you out, honestly. I'm still running out of time in my games to decide what to do. So once you're all set and happy, you can just hit end deployment and the units will battle it out. Now you can see his units were in the middle, but now he's on the sides. He's just done the same thing that I have. And it looks like we're up against crawlers, saber-tooths, and some fangs. Crawlers are little melee units that drill into things. Fangs are, I think, the most basic unit in the game. They are your cannon fodder, shooty pew-pews, and they are just going to get annihilated here. Once everything's dead, you'll see little orbs fly towards the opponent, and they will damage him just like a normal auto-battler, and then we'll get into round 2. So on rounds 2, 3, or 4, you'll get the option to select a reinforcement. So you'll get the option to select from some random units, and they're randomized every time. The most leveled unit is not always the best option, depending on your situation. You can see level 1, level 2, and level 3. And they'll always cost differently. So if this were to show up again, he would maybe not be free. But for me, I'm just going to choose the free option, and I'm going to instantly get a level 3 marksman. These are your sniper mechs. They are very good at dealing with a decent amount of problems, honestly. I'm going to place him on the right side, kind of lined up with the saber-tooth, and I'm going to hope that he deletes him from existence over there. Now we are in round 2. If any units level up, you can just click promote, and he's level 2. And what I've noticed is from levels 1 to 2, they will double in their HP and attack. And then from levels 2 and 3, they will get a quarter, or they'll get half of the increase from levels 1 and 2. So it won't be doubled health and attack from levels 2 to 3, but it'll be about half if you were to compare levels 1 to 2. In general, if you have extra money, upgrading units is a really good idea, because this is like every other auto battler. Teamfight Tactics, Dota 2, leveled units win, generally, most of the time. So, what's happening now? You can unlock units, and you can look at your opponent's board now. So you can see that his board's still grayed out, but you can see that his units have changed. And you can kind of see this saber-tooth is pivoted a little bit. That's because he plans to go after this arc light, and this arc light plans to go after him. This unit was in the middle, and since the middle's not entirely quote-unquote the middle, it kind of forces units in the middle to decide a left or right pattern, unless there's units in the front here. On your second round, you can unlock a unit, and these are every unit that's currently in the game from cheapest to most expensive. Each unit will have an unlock cost unless they're really cheap, which goes back from the saber-tooth all the way to the marksman. You can just unlock these for free, so there's no expense. But if you want to unlock, actually you can unlock the tarantula for free. But let's say I want to unlock a rhino, that'll cost me 50, and then to place it down, it'll be 200. And now I have a rhino. I'll just place him somewhere. You can only unlock one unit around, and always unlocking the unit, even if it's just free, is generally a good idea. You don't have to spend money, but just getting a free unit unlocked will save you from having to wait until the next round if you need to counter another unit. Over on the right side, there are devices that you have. There's the shield generator, which Looks like that when you place it down. These are really helpful. You should not underestimate the power of a shield generator. There's a power that you can select that will give you I think it's 100% increase or a 50% increase to the shield generator's power. It also works for other units like fangs who have built-in shields as an upgrade. You know, they don't start with built-in shields. I've spent all of my money for this round, so I'm just going to end deployment and watch everybody go to work. If the timer ever runs out, everybody on the field will just be tallied up and shot at your opponent. So if these Stormcallers live and those Sabertooths live, then their worth in HP damage will be tallied up and both players will take damage. It's kind of like their version of a draw. I'm getting semi-owned. That left side over there is probably going to be fine, but the Phoenixes are going to come in and wipe me out because I don't have any anti-air. There is a speed up button. It's vote based, so if you're doing a 2v2 or 4-player game, only 3 people need to speed the game up. And the game, I think, automatically does speed it up sometimes when it gets to the very last units. Not entirely sure. Every few rounds, you'll have the option to select either a free unit or a free reinforcement, or you can just skip the reinforcement items to gain 50 supplies if you don't find any of this compelling. You can stack powers, so this intensive training I can stack with the other one that I have. So if you really need to level a unit up, you can do that as an option. This is also the redeployment option, which allows you to move one squad around every round. And then it also comes in the form of an item to where you can always move that squad around. So I'm just going to go with double intensive training. I'm going to spend 50, and now I have 2 of these powers. Now for the nukes or missiles or whatever else, they will also appear in this left corner. Certain units have an increase to splash damage, like the high explosive ammo for the Stormcallers. It usually decreases their attack by a margin, but increases their splash damage range. So they already do 5.5, but I've seen a unit have the option to increase their splash damage range from 0. And that'll just deal more damage to in a wider range per shot. So you can see that I have an incendiary bomb. I will just activate it and I can just place it, and then I can target how it's going to go. And if I don't like the targeting, I just right click and then it's gone, and I can replace the target. I'm gonna try and place it kind of not where they are, but where they're gonna go. So kind of like there. And I want to actually face that the other direction because they're bombs that actually drop. So I'll do something like that. I'm going to go over here and unlock a new unit. I can't buy them because I wasn't paying attention to what I was unlocking, which also means I probably can't show you that thing that I wanted to show you. So I will summon 2 more, another marksman, and I will show you the flanking opportunities. So on the sides here, you can see that it's lit up. These are flank points. Now when you place a unit over here, it will take a deployment time the first time that you place new units over here. So if you place this guy down, he'll have a deployment time of, I think it's 10 seconds or something, which these units will intercept that marksman over there. You can use this as a distraction to distract the Phoenixes or the Fangs if you need a distraction to support your other units. Or a popular strategy is to use a rhino to just plop them down and go and gank a tower, which will give your enemy the debuff, which allows you to really start clearing through them. Usually these get countered by the opponent pretty quickly because it's really annoying to deal with, and you kind of have to deal with it. But after that, there's no deployment time once the first round is started, since they've been placed at the flank. So if I just end the deployment, you can see that he's summoning and he's dead. Now eventually I can place one there that will actually get through, and then he'll start fighting. But you can see that these wasps are a lot further up and they're dealing more damage. My bomb over here went off, and you can see the debris of those fangs. And you can see the shields really doing some work to protect those storm crawlers. Is it gonna be enough? No, but that's okay. They really bought some time for my other units to run around and start cleaning up the board. Now you can see my units died to my own fire there. I think every unit that can put something on the ground also deals damage to yourself, so there's 100% friendly fire in the game. So you have to kind of be aware. There's more options for reinforcements. There's the additional deployment slot, which increases your squad from 2 to 3. And there's laser sights, which increases the range with whoever equips this tech upgrade. So if I just click that, I have it over here on the left, and I can apply it to anyone I want. I'll just apply it to the marksman, and his range is increased. Now you can see that you can upgrade units, but you can also upgrade their tech. Now on that UI menu that I said not to worry about, you can actually switch these out with different tech upgrades, and different ones are different depending on what you want to use them for, what situation you find yourself in. Don't worry about it too much. You can just play around with them and find what fits best as you discover it. You don't have to follow the meta or anything. I'm not really trying to win, so I'm just going to summon a fortress, which is a big tanky boy, and I'm going to upgrade him with barrier. Now you can see this is 500, 300, 200, 300. If I upgrade his barrier, it's now 500, 400, 500. So they get more expensive the more you upgrade them, which means if you're dumping upgrades into a unit, you want to pretty much make sure that you're not going to sell them, or that that's the unit that you're playing around to help support your game. That's kind of like your main unit for that round, or for the entire match. So you can also increase the range. Most tech upgrades have a drawback. I say most, but I can't find one. So there's launcher overload for the stormcrawlers. The attack interval is reduced by 50%, which means it'll attack faster, but the range is also reduced by 40 meters, and their movement speed by 5. This can be counteracted by the range enhancement, but they won't gain their 5 movement speed back. That means they have a movement speed of 1. That's insane. Range upgrades are generally always nice to have if you don't have any other plans, because they don't have a drawback normally, and being able to hit your opponent before they hit you is pretty much a plus. I can just use these intensive trainings for no real reason, and then I can unlock a free unit. I'll unlock a Mustang. Your Mustangs are your anti-air units. Fangs can also deal with air, but for the most part, Mustangs are your easy solution to wasps, phantom rays, phoenixes. They can hit anything in the air. So I can just hit in deployment, and then you can see my fort has his shield, who's putting in work, and he's annihilating people. And that's honestly all I have for a new player. The more you play, the more you learn. You can look up unit counters. I generally did when I couldn't find a unit to counter something or when I was just confused. But hopefully I will have released some of my unit guides to tell you which ones will counter what units. But yeah, I think I'm gonna win this round, and if I keep playing I can probably win, but I'm more interested in getting those unit guides up. So if a unit can't hit air, it'll just walk over to it and kind of stand there, and then wait for other units to come in and help it, or it'll just wait around to die. You can sometimes get cards that will summon other units in the game, and you just place these anywhere on the map beforehand and they'll just kind of immediately show up. I'll place the wasps over here, summon some mustangs. I'll use the mass recruitment and the rapid resupply to summon more mustangs, and I will upgrade them with the range enhancement. I can also upgrade them with high explosive ammo. So I reduced their attack by 30, but their splash damage range is increased. So now they do more splash damage, and I can just kind of place them anywhere. I forgot to mention that if you middle mouse button a unit, you can change the orientation of them, so that's helpful. This is good for if you're trying to face units head on. You can have a more offensive attack formation, but if you do the horizontal, they'll kind of trickle in a bit more. And for these storm callers who shoot missiles diagonally, horizontally, you can have a vertical orientation to kind of miss some of those missiles and not take as much damage. It really just depends on what you're doing and what you're building. So I have an upgrade that I can do, and then end deployment, and then these mustangs will go, and that's about it. You'll see these wasps spawned in, and they're just gonna go to the closest unit that they can get to. So that's how units work. Units go after the closest unit that they can find. Outside of that, you can see my mustangs are attacking pretty fast. They're not really doing much splash damage because it's kind of hard to... It's a very tight spread that they have. But yeah, it seems like I've beaten this bot up pretty hard. I will show you one more thing about giant units, which I think are cool. Well, not cool, but I think giant units are cool. If the bot doesn't die. Okay, I have one more round to show you. If I summon a giant unit, yeah, that's true. I forgot that too. If I summon a giant unit, this is not a giant unit, this is an overlord. They are the air superiority. If I summon a giant unit, like this war factory, crap. Well, I would have showed you, but I'll show you later in my unit videos. The giant units tend to have an upkeep cost every round. You won't explicitly see it, the game never tells you, but giant units have an upgrade cost, or not an upgrade cost, a upkeep cost that you must upkeep. I guess the game does tell you, I'm just blind. It's 200 a round to upkeep, so if I have a war fortress summoned, or a war factory summoned, it will consume my supplies for the next upcoming round. So it's kind of like paying the utility bills. It sucks, but it happens. You can't really count it as your budget. So yeah, I can upgrade twice, and now he's level 4, and he's gonna run around and deal a whole bunch of damage. He has a whole bunch of attack and health, and that'll pretty much close out this game for the AI. Yeah, over here he summoned his War Fortress. You can see in the bottom left that his upkeep is 200, and if he wants to sell it, he'll get 800 from it. And War Fortresses have more tech options, and they're war factories, not War Fortresses. But yeah, maybe I won't win. I don't really care. Yeah. Welcome to Mechabellum. I hope you enjoy, and that's about all I have. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, and spread the word. I do not find tutorial videos on Mechabellum from anyone who makes it necessarily easy to understand, per se. I probably didn't make it easy to understand, but hopefully by watching the video, it's not too long, you can understand it, have some fun, and yeah, I hope this helps. So, thank you for watching.